Joining us here for an exclusive sneak peek at the data is Saks CEO Marc Metrick. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So what are you gleaning from this new data?
Yeah, if you can, first you want to look at it in a glass half full. It's sort of still more than half of the respondents indicated that they were going to spend more or the same in the next 3 months than the prior 3 months. I think the deceleration is around how they responded to that question last time, and that's the half empty, which was 62% last time indicated that they were going to spend the same, if not more, and that was January. So we're seeing sort of an overall pullback from the luxury consumer. Looking more at sort of that core luxury consumer, that high income spender, that's where we saw the first drop from them in all of the surveys that we've been doing. So about 57% of them, which again is more than half, said that they're going to spend more over the next 3 months than the prior 3, but that's down from 62%.
So you think luxury spending has peaked?
I think it's peaked, and I think you're starting to see a little bit of a pullback from across the entire continuum, not just the folks at the beginning.
But when you look at your sales, they're still higher than 2019, aren't they, at this point?
Absolutely.
How much higher?
Well,
how much better?
On the e-commerce side, we're about 120% ahead of 2019, and even the bricks and mortar stores are well above where 2019 levels were. But I think that's strategy, and that's how we're executing versus just the overall macro.
How do you change your strategy at all if you're going to respond to these surveys in some way and see a diminution, at least in terms of spending from the high end?
Yeah, I think what you need to do is you need to be very, pretty conservative on the inventory purchasing and not get yourself, well overboard with your investments. Make sure you don't have to be promotional or incrementally promotional to where you normally would be. And, you have to keep a close eye on what the consumer's saying. So they're also telling us, hey, we're traveling. 77% of respondents indicated that they were going to travel, and that they've already booked a trip in the near future. And they also said, hey, I'm going to buy some stuff from you when I do it. So we got to have stuff that people can wear when they're away, when they're moving. We're also reacting to how consumers are saying, we're not going to trade down. And I heard Ed Stack say that this morning as well when they were talking about Dick's. And that's what our customers said too. We might buy a little bit less or fewer items, but we're not going to trade off of luxury.
How far back have you gone with these surveys? How long have you been doing this?
We've been doing this for, I think, about a year and a half or so.
Okay, and has it been accurate? I mean, has it largely actually predicted properly what would happen in terms of spending?
Yes, absolutely. The canary in the coal mine is sometimes even just the data we see on our site itself. So just an example, people ask me, are you going to have to be more promotional? The consumer in the survey indicated the 47% of respondents that said, hey, we're going to pull back on spending. When asked what would make you spend more, over half of them said a sale or promotion. And we're also seeing that on our site, but we started to see that about 3 months ago when consumers, the glance views on our site, so that's just what people are looking at. We had a 700 basis point increase in the index of people looking at sale product versus the full price product. So it just reinforces what we see sometimes in our own data.
So how does that influence overall pricing? Because for some of these luxury brands, like Chanel shoes, it was like there was no ceiling at one point for how high prices got. Has that come down?
We're not seeing that come down, but I think what you're seeing is, again, the consumer, they're reacting and behaving not just to the price of the shoes. And I think inflation in luxury has always been about scarcity and the demand for the product. It's not been so macro-driven, so the consumer's used to it. I think what you're seeing now is the consumer's probably saying, all right, I'm going to wait for a sale, or I'm going to wait for the price, or I'm going to buy, instead of 2 pairs, I'm going to buy 1. But they're not trading off of these brands. And the big strategy around luxury is, even if I have to sell fewer units for more, that makes the inventory more scarce, that makes it more desirable, and it keeps demand actually going in the long term.